with a pharmaceutical platform. We'll call it a pharmaceutical platform. I'm not sure it's even really that complicated in terms of thinking in terms of the FDA and all those sorts of things. I think it's really interesting. This stock, unlike some is a pharmaceutical company that you might have the lowest market cap of one you've seen in a long time. Obviously, when stocks have low market caps, I think there's an opportunity in them. One of the things I think people should pay attention to this story is just the fact that he's developing this delivery platform that ultimately they can deliver existing drugs to, which really means that the process takes a different path than most things that require FDA approval. So it does require FDA approval, but I think the belief here is that certainly with the company's lead candidate, that they could actually be into a commercial position over the next 18 months. And if that's the case, then obviously the $1.5 million or $2 million market cap, whatever it is probably not going to be relevant. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming to our presentation. I just want to see if this works. Yeah. Okay, well, as mentioned, we are a healthcare company. We are a pharmaceutical company. And I don't know if you were here when the gentleman from Safeguard Scientific gave a presentation. Not only he said most of their investment is in healthcare, and he made most of his money from the healthcare. But he said two things, more important. One, he likes drug delivery companies, and the second one, he likes the specialty pharma. So this is a drug delivery company, and it is a specialty pharma, and you will see. So with that, let's start the presentation. Oh yes, okay, you need to read this. This is our safe harbor. And obviously, you've seen it before, but what basically we say, as you know, most of it is assumption, expectation, and what we think and what we believe is going to happen. You can read more of these things in our filings, and from there, we go to the next slide. All right, again, so we are a drug delivery company. And what is our specialty? We are a sublingual or under the tongue drug delivery company. There are not too many of them out there, and there are not too many drugs that actually you can deliver under the tongue or in the mouth. There are few drugs, like a nitroglycerin for heart attack, some vitamins, and nicotine in the form of gum, chewing gum, but many drugs do not go through the skins into your blood from the mouth. So you really have to do something with them. You have to reformulate the drug. You have to make it also taste acceptable, because the drugs, the taste are horrible. So you must mask the taste and make it quite soluble to go through the blood from the mouth. We've been working in this area for about 6 years. We haven't been public for 6 years, but obviously in the private company and originally from university scientists. And approximately about $10 million has so far been spent on this technology. Okay, why sublingual? One of the most important things with the sublingual drug delivery is that it's rapid, goes straight to the blood. If the drug goes through the skin of the mouth, so straight go to the blood. So really it's the next after direct injection with the needle. And you can imagine if you could send the drugs to the blood from the skin of the mouth, is extremely advantageous versus oral or even some injection because of the needle and needle phobia. So the drug rapidly disintegrates in the mouth and quickly absorb. And because obviously in the mouth, some drug goes to your stomach, right? You swallow one go down. We can't say 100% goes to the blood. Some goes. but the amount of the drug which reaches the stomach becomes less, much less. Therefore, if the drug has side effects in the stomach or intestine, that side effect is less. And side effects is reduced. Another thing is that when you take a drugs by oral, you take a pill, in order to go to the blood, all the drugs, they have to go to your liver, and there they exchange with the blood and go to the blood. Therefore, there are side effects of the drugs, occurs in the liver. There is a drugs breakdown in the liver. But if you go directly from the mouth, from the skin of the mouth into the liver, so you got less of the liver side effects. So you also, because now most of the drugs go directly to your blood, you need less drug. In other words, the pills can be much, much smaller. And let me show you here. Have a look. This is, I don't know if you see it from there, this is a Viagra from Pfizer. Okay, this is 25 milligram. And this is our Viagra. So it's so tiny. And this, you only need much less of this, but very tiny, quickly disintegrate in your mouth, tastes good, and goes to the blood. So the similar, technology and ideas you can apply to many other drugs. And what we do in order to know a drug is going to work with this technology or not, we do some basic lab tests. We call it dissolution study, disintegration study. And if the dissolution or disintegration is much faster, means the drug is going to absorb, go to the blood much faster, and do the job much faster. Here again, I'm comparing. The red one is, our Viagra, and the blue one is Pfizer. So ours, it basically 100% is soluble, is ready to be absorbed in the blood about 6 times faster, around 1 minute. Can you see? Around 1 minute, 100% of the drug now is dissolved and ready to be absorbed. Whereas with Pfizer, you have to wait 6 minutes. Now this, when you apply it to the body, could be 10 minutes versus 1 hour, could be 10 minutes versus 2 hours. We have tested these products, this technology against about 40 drugs to see whether it's going to work or not. And we did a basic research, and the answer is yes. It will be applicable to about 40 drugs. And obviously, because of the lack of resources, we only taken few of them to develop right now. There are some non-drugs, like vitamins, nicotine also could be used this way. So there are we call it supplements as well. But in the drug business or in the pharmaceuticals, there are 40 of them we have tested. It will work. And as you see here, we have taken 4 which we are developing. And this is our own reasons to take this 4, either because of primarily because of the market is huge for each of the drug. This one is a Viagra from Pfizer, $2.5 billion. That one, hypertension and anxiety, 1.2. Osteoporosis, this is a big problem in the women, $3 billion, and migraine, $2 billion. So you can see these are all blockbuster drugs from different companies, and we are now developing under-the-tongue version of these drugs. Now, why we pick up Viagra? We pick up Viagra, or we call it Excite, or we got a name, because first of all, as you know, it's an oral pill. I've got one in my pocket, and marketed by Pfizer. It generates around $2.5 billion. I don't know, maybe a little bit more now. And these are basically benefits of the under the tongue with sublingual. It's faster. We have actually tested this drug in proof of concept and in the trials in Europe. So what I'm saying here is actually results from human, approximately 10 minutes versus about 60 minutes. Reduced dosage, I show you, because more of it goes to the body, you don't need as much. You can go less. So it is needed approximately half or even less to get the same mileage. And because again, less go to your stomach, there is less upset. If anybody is taking here Viagra, you know there's a loss of heartburn, acid reflux. Lots of people, they develop diarrhea because the drugs go to the colon system, to the intestinal system. So all of those is reduced because drugs directly go to the blood, most of it. Liver metabolism, again, the Viagra goes to liver, metabolized there. We know what's the metabolites, and actually some of the headache. People get a headache, which is associated because of the liver metabolism. Here again, you got less drug going to liver, you got a less of a headache. What else? With the Viagra, it's written, Pfizer says you have to take water, several cup of water. With this one, with the under the tongue, you don't need water. It does the same job. You want to take a water, fine, but you're not obligated, you're not, the drug doesn't need for water, use of water. Let me talk a little bit about a second drug. This is also well known. We call it beta blockers or propranolol, which is used for hypertension. It's used for many different indications. And now there are different format or form of this propranolol out there. They generate quite a lot of money still for a pharmaceutical company. AstraZeneca is the one which is the biggest in the area. And again, is oral pills. So why did we decide to develop a sublingual? We decided to develop because fast action. If you take a current propranolol pill, it takes about 2 hours really you get the maximum effect, the peak of the drug. Because it has to go from the stomach to the liver, from liver goes to the blood. And 75% of the drug goes to the liver and doesn't come out. It breaks down. It's well known. So here you will go directly to the blood from the mouth. You can increase. You can probably go 80% to the blood. So it means you need far less of the drug. Faster, much faster, and liver side effect is much lower. It is very good drug for anxiety attack and also good drug for hypertension, some cardiovascular, and few other diseases such as memory consolidation and post-trauma stress disorders. So the drug, especially now if you can go with the small pills, which is much more effective, you can have quite a bit of the market, all this area. And all of this area, we need a good, fast-acting, effective drugs which has less side effects in the liver. This is a third drug which we decided to develop. It's also very exciting drug. It generates $3.2 billion for Merck. In fact, I think it's the second biggest money maker of the Merck drug. It is known as a Fosamax. It is an oral pill again, marketed by Merck. This is revenue. Now, why did we decide to develop sublingual? Again, better absorption. Fosamax, and Merck really says, and is in the documents, is about 2% of the drug absorbs. The rest stay in the stomach, goes with the feces out. It's got a very poor absorption through the stomach. So if you could increase that, let's say even by 50%, or by even 20%, that's 10 times more. Means the benefit is much greater. And particularly, this drug was developed by Merck for osteoporosis, for bone getting hollow and breaking the bones, right, in the elderly. But now they also discovered it's very good for some form of bone cancer. And that's another market, big market, bone cancer. So therefore, this is a fantastic drug, and we are developing the sublingual. With this Fosamax right now, Merck says if you take it, you have to drink at least 2-3 cups of water. You have to stand up even. You cannot lay down. You have to stand up to give it a good opportunity to mix. Lots of inconveniences. Here, no water, directly goes to your blood and do the job. Once again, less of the stomach side effects, less of the intestinal side effects, less of the, and the Fosamax that you take it by oral, the pills, is causing stomach irritation, like an ulcer. Some people develop even bleeding, and all of these things. And it's written, you have to come off. So if you can get much less, but even the same amount go to your blood, therefore you won't have those side effects of the stomach, bleeding and things like that. And as I mentioned, 2 huge market for a drug. And this is the last one which I want to talk about it. We have done a few other drugs as well, but these are the ones that really now we are pushing forward. So this is a migraine drug, Olmotriptan. Olmotriptan is marketed by, is made by a branch of Johnson & Johnson. It's called Janssen Pharmaceuticals, part of Johnson & Johnson family of companies. It generates about $2 billion. It's a very, very big money maker for migraine. Migraine is a big problem. Again, it's very slow. This drug is, takes about an hour to work. And if you got a severe headache, you can appreciate something to work fast. I think the drug, sublingual under the tongue, will absorb very fast, very rapidly, within 10-15 minutes, so you start to see the benefit. It's got you need much less, again, the dosage will be reduced, the cost of goods, less drug, less money, and you don't need water. Again, with this drug, you have to take quite a bit of water, and good for migraine, and also now actually it's been used for some non-migraine severe headaches, which people, they don't know why, but the drug works. All right, let's go back now. Where are we with Excite? I mentioned to you we have made up pills. I've got it with me. You saw that. We have done a clinical trials for proof of concept, but under the European equivalent to FDA guideline. We tested on 24 people. The drugs absorbed nicely. We had a rapid absorption of the drug. We saw it, and nobody complained about the side effects. Nobody, we had to stop. They didn't take it water, and we were very encouraged to do it now properly and go to FDA. And right now we are manufacturing the drug in North America under the FDA protocol. Then we will use this manufactured drug, which basically has to have all the final form, like, dosage, what code name you are giving it, how it's going to look like, or is it coming in a blister form or in the open bottles. So all of these things we are doing, and it's going to be in a blister, very nice, 10 in a little blister. You pop it, come off, and then we will file it with the FDA. The beauty again of these products is that these products, how they work, what is good for, you know everything. And none of our pills, the concentration of the drug is more than what is the one on the market. So we know it. So we are basically going to do the manufacturing and then do the trials under the FDA protocol. The second drug of our, which is we call it Relax B, or that propranolol for the anxiety attack and for hypertension. That drug also we have done a protocol. We have done a non-GMP production, and right now we are producing under the GMP guideline. Once it's finished, then we do the trials on that. So that's also under the way. So development plan for these products, okay, all of these products are very, very similar. What we call in pharmaceutical drug development, we call it a protocol called 505(b)(2). So our drugs are not NDA, they are not ANDA. NDA means completely new drug, that you have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars and do all the studies, takes 5 to 10 years and so on. So they are not there. ANDA are the drugs which are generic. So the same Lipitor which is out there, you exactly produce the same and the same way of using it. Now, the third one, we call it 505(b)(2). This is for the drugs that you change the mode of administration from oral to sublingual, or from oral to patch, or from oral to nasal. It's the same drug, just a little bit different in formulation for the same indication. So you can't go different indication. For example, our Viagra is for ED, for sexual enhancement, the same as Viagra. That one is oral, this one is sublingual. So I mean, now, with this protocol, what you need to do, you do a small human trials of about 20 to 30 people. And you need to look to see how long does it take time the drug reaches the blood and how much will be in the blood. You call it PK study, pharmacokinetics. Some people, they call it phase 1, whatever. It's very fast, can take 2 to 3 months to finish, around $500,000. And you have to therefore produce a drug from a FDA-approved facility in the final format, okay? So really, you spend more time in manufacturing than doing the trials. Once the manufacturing is done, then you just 20 to 30 volunteers. You don't need a patient, you need volunteers, a student from university. And once you finish that, and the data is good, so you don't have suddenly a huge amount of drug in the blood, so you know the profile, you know how much you have to use, then you will do one more study, about 100 to 100 people, patients, but that is phase 3, that is patients. Now you go to patients, and you get a profile in the patients. That can take between 12 months, maybe to 18 months. So that study will be finished, then you get approval for marketing. The cost of that trial is not a lot. So each of this drug, from ground zero all the way to the market, maybe costs you between $3 to $5 million. But let's be more realistic, maybe around $5 million. So it's good. You got almost a new drug, and you spend $5 million, takes 2 to 3 years, one drug out in the market. Okay? So that protocol applies to every drug. Now, some of the milestones that you will see from here, this is Excite. As I said, we did a pilot manufacturing, the clinical manufacturing, we're almost 2/3 done, and then Q2 of 2012, or maybe a little bit earlier, we start that 20 to 30 patients, phase 1 we call it, or PK. Q3, we move to the phase 3. So it's very fast, and then marketing will be towards the end of 2013 or 2014, early 2014. The other drugs, the one for hypertension and anxiety attack, this one is a little bit behind, but it's going very nicely. That one will go to 2014. Quite frankly, if there is resources in terms of money, you can have 5 of this drug going at the same time. Different company make a different CRO testing it in people. And this is a osteoporosis drug. That one is more behind, so it's going to be more towards the end of 2014. And this is a migraine drug. The last one is going to be first quarter of 2015. So if we go with the pace as we are now. Now, if you speed up, it will be faster and more drug. No, it will not really be faster. That's the time. But you can put more drug at the same time. Okay, what is our marketing strategy? Obviously, we are a small company. We don't have resources for marketing. So right now, this plan may change, okay? right now, we think it's a good idea to finish the phase 3 clinical trials and then find partners. So partners for regional bases, like a country by country, or Europe versus Asia and so on. And we can look at the partners from different bags. It could be from the same company which has a brand. They also will have, they may want the sublingual format. It could be a company that is in the generic business, and they want also this one. We can make a partnership with those. It could be, or it could be a company that, like a Merck, which has nothing in the erectile dysfunction, so they want to get into the market, so that they can be your partner. So therefore, there is a lot of opportunity for these drugs. You can't say, oh, well, you develop, who wants sublingual Viagra, or who wants sublingual osteoporosis drug? There are plenty. You got to get approval. Once you get approval, because there is money, because there is an easy, and these pills are easy to be made. They're dry. They're not, they don't need a sophistication of this way holding it, that way holding it. They come in a blister. You can keep it for 2 years. So it's good. So we can have lots of partners from different ways. And if we do a partnership with this type of drugs, on the least or lowest side, you can ask for $2 to $10 million for signing a deal. Okay, you want to get the exclusive right to market this product for, I don't know, let's say Japan. Well, it's not that nothing is free, so you can ask for upfront fees. You can also ask for some of the milestones. If we do a partnership earlier, means after that small clinical trials, phase 1, we can make a partnership. So then you can incorporate certain milestones when the phase 3 is completed. And that could be between $10 to $50 million, depending on which country we're talking. United States is big, you can ask more. I don't know, France is smaller, or something like Switzerland is smaller, you can ask less. Then with the marketing again, you can say, okay, you carry on manufacturing, you pay the cost of manufacturing, there are companies who manufacture, and you go and market for that area, or we can get a company manufacturer, we ship it to you in a final blister format, so you can collect royalties on a net sale. And the royalties for this product on the low side could be 30 to 40% of the sale. So that is a lot. I mean, all of these products you saw, they are about, in average, $2 billion market. Even if, you take 10%, that's a lot of money in terms of sale. And if you get 40% of that, it's a lot of money for us. Okay, financial projection, this is what we project, that's what we think. Time will show. So again, we said lots of these products will mature in terms of FDA clinical approval around 2013. Therefore, that's the time you start to collect some milestone licensing fees and milestones, and the royalty from the sale of the products will be realistically more in 2014 and 15. So you could see if you really introduce 2 or 3 of these drugs into the market by 2015, and you're collecting, let's say, 30 to 40% of the royalties, suddenly your operating profit will be huge. And we don't need to do anything about that drug, so we can use that money and go to the next one and next one. And there's plenty of those drugs out there that you want to develop sublingual, because either they are slow, either they got a stomach upsetting side effects, either they got a liver side effects. There are many reasons. So that's going to be a good cash flow for a small company such as ours. Now, from the capital structure, we don't have too many shares outstanding. We got around 10 million shares, give and take. Fully diluted, about 14 million shares. The stock price is around 17 cents. I don't know what it's right now. So around 15, 17 cents. So I guess, as people say, they say, our stock price is as small as our pills. So it's very small right now. But it's not going to, pill size will not grow up, but the stock price will go up. I'm hoping. Okay, so let's qualify. I'm hoping we trade on OTCBB, bulletin board. The symbol is GHLVD. This symbol is there until December 20, then it changed to KDMP. Okay, because we changed the name. And we have about $2 million cash on hand and a burn rate of $150,000 per month. That's it. That's the last slide. So drug delivery company, sublingual, there are not too many companies out there that are focusing on that, going after blockbuster drugs. And believe me, each of those drugs, if you have a fast-acting format, people want it. Thank you very much.
Wait, one question. How much more money do you think you have to raise to get to that first commercial product?
Of the first commercial product, I think I will raise probably, I need $2 million more.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm very smart, I'm like David. Help me how you protect and how you get the licensing knowing that you're going to get these products. How are you protected?
Okay, formulation is a basically proprietary formulation that we have it and we don't really give it out. That's why we keep the manufacturing. Okay, the manufacturing right now is done by contract manufacturing companies that they sign. We own that. They do. They're not, they're not supposed to let anybody know what is there. Otherwise, they're in trouble. That is from that. The second, but from the licensing, I honestly got quite a few curiosity right now from different companies. I have a curiosity from European companies, I had from Spain. I had a very good talk with a couple of German companies, Korean companies, even a company here in the Bay Area.
How do you protect what you're trying to do, though, right now? Because there's no patents or anything out there.
No, there is no patent out there. We basically keep the recipe right now to ourselves, like a Coca-Cola. And you got 7 years of exclusivity once these drugs are approved. You know that. 7 years. When FDA approves this, you got 7 year exclusivity. So you're good for that. In Europe, you got 10 years. After 10 years, who cares? Okay, thank you very much. Yes, there's a question.
Are you looking to stay in control of this company, or you're talking about licensing deals? Would you consider, if a large pharmaceutical came in, would you consider a complete buyout, or are you looking to stay in control of this?
No, absolutely. I have developed companies before and I sold them. So if the price is right, welcome.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.